Okay, that's good now. And again, thank you and welcome to today's event. We would love that. We would love to have students to pass the exam. And today is just another event in our series to assist students in upcoming exam of July. Okay, and today focus will be on L4M7. As you may know, L4M7 is among the modules that have very high pass rate. However, then not everyone understand the knowledge from study guide. So we think that it's our job to assist students, no matter how many students are struggling. Okay, so today event, then I would like to introduce some key topics of L4M7, and through this, then I hope that you will have an overview about the most important topic. Yeah, I need to enable the caption as well. That's great. Okay, so yeah, I just want to enable the caption so that everyone can understand the session. All right, let's continue. So with L4M7, then due to time limit, so I will just focus on some key topics, and I hope that through today, then you may be able to understand some most important and difficult question from L4M7. All right, so let's go into the details. Before that, then let's summarize on what I will be presenting today. Okay, there will be some topics that may have pretty significant questions in the exam, like about some factors in warehouse design and warehouse the decision on warehouse location. Second, on the product coding, on the use of barcode and RFID, and the classification of stock, the cost of holding inventory, and some inventory management strategies like push and pull. Here, then you may see that I totally omit chapter 3 because the question from that chapter is basically just about the whole life cost and whole life cost elements. And there are some other small topics within chapter 3, but overall, then they are very straightforward. And basically, I see that many students are able to finish the question in chapter 3 without any difficulty. So I will just focus on the question of chapter 1 and chapter 2, where they proved to be more difficult. And recently, I see that some questions from these chapters are pretty challenging and raise a new kind of like hurdle to the student in the exam. Okay, so let's go into the details. First, with the warehouse design, then you know that with the warehouse, then we need to design the storage capacity, storage facility within very limited space. Okay, not really very limited, but I mean, at best, then we only have that much space, and we often have more inventory to storage. Okay, so to balance between the storage and the capacity, then you need to design it in a smart way. And also, we also need to consider other factors like the equipment that you use in the warehouse or health and safety requirements. Okay, so the factor in warehouse design may include something like the type of the goods, with some goods like food, or some thing more bulky like chemical boxes. Then different type of goods may require different type of warehouse. With food, for example, they may require cold facility, and it means that uh, they need to have like a cold facility or cold storage, and that may have very different requirement on the design. Like we need to have some better installation and a separated cold area. The equipment and health safety requirements also have some impact on well design, like with the use of forklift, especially the counterbalance forklift, the forklift with very big size. Um, it requires to expand the eyes, okay, the driveway between the racks, that is the eyes. And another issue could be the health safety, like we need to pay attention to the separation between manual labor and uh, area for vehicle. Okay. Other factors may include the handling capacity and transport infrastructure. Uh, Another question in this area could be the question on the decision on the location of warehouse. Here, then to decide the warehouse, to decide the location of warehouse, then we need to consider multiple factors. And the thing is, none of these is the most, or none of these is the most important determinant of the location. We need to balance all of them. And to the essence, then you need to select a location that enable the best value for money. In other words, then we need to select a location that enable to calculate first lowest cost, okay, lowest total cost, and second, highest return. Okay, so there could be no factors that will be prevail here. That will prevail here. Okay, in the exam, then they may ask you that kind of question, like they may ask some kind of like yes no question, where they say that for example, the proximity to the customer would be the only consideration in the decision for the location of warehouse, and absolutely, that statement is wrong. Okay, with warehouse location, then we need to have kind of like an optimal result. The total cost, considering every factors like the cost of the land, the availability of building, and the cost of construction here, the availability of skilled staff, the item, the access to transport infrastructure, proximity to customer, and to the source of supply. With all of these, then we need to decide the location warehouse, like which location would provide the best value for money, and it would provide the lowest cost possible. Okay, another question that you may stumble, that is about the size of the eyes that could be necessary for a certain warehouse. Actually, then this one is pretty well covered in study guide, but it can apply just some very small note in study guide, so you may have overlooked. The thing is, the size of the eyes here will have the relation with the use of different type of equipment. Okay, so the bigger the equipment, then we need to have bigger size, bigger eyes to use them, to maneuver them. Okay, like when you have a counterbalance forklift, then each side would be about from 1.5 to 2 meter. Okay, the length of that equipment, the length of that vehicle would be about from 1.5 to 2 meters. And the thing is, when you want to drive something within the warehouse, then you need to have big enough eyes so that that vehicle could make a U-turn, right? So the bigger the eyes, then the better. Okay, normally, then the optimal size for the eye would be about 1.5 times of the size or the length of the vehicle. So, for a standard counterbalance forklift, as I said, then its length would be about 1.5 to 2 meter. So, by multiply that with 1.5, okay, then we get the size for the eyes. Okay, so for normal eyes, then the width could be from 2.5 to 4.5 meter or 8 to 15 feet. Okay, in the exam, then they may ask you about the width in meters or the width in feet. Okay, so you need to remember both of them, right? With the normal eyes, then we can have the counterbalance forklift. Okay. Similarly, then if you want to maximize the space for storage, then we could use a narrow eye, which is about 2 meter or 6.5 feet. Okay, above it is normal, below it is narrow. And with this side, then we can only use the narrow eyes forklift, okay, the smaller one, and it has lower capacity. And if you want to maximize your storage, and you may want to minimize your eyes, but the size should not be smaller than 1.4 meter or 4.6 feet. Okay, with this size, then at best, then we could use some kind of like rich truck. Okay, something look like this. Okay, the rich truck is pretty small, and it kept like about the size of some kind of a bicycle. Okay, something look like this, and it could be used within a very narrow eye. So with this one, then we can even fit into very narrow eyes, and you may maximize the storage facility. But for this one, then you see that its wheels are also very small, and the capacity and the handling capacity of this equipment is not as great as a standard counterbalance forklift. So depending on the handling capacity and depending on your need for storage, and we may have different consideration and different option, different selection for the equipment here, and for the size of the eye here. Um, the bottom line here is that they need to be synchronized, right? When you design the warehouse, then you need to have in mind like what kind of item you want to storage and what could be the height of the right, and what could be the your selection of the eye, and also the selection of the equipment. They all connect to each other. They all connect to each other. Okay, so overall, then the question for warehouse design and warehouse location tend to focus on those three areas, like the consideration for the location or the size of the eye. There are some other questions, maybe about the allocation of space and the location um, for high return or low return items. And the rules is that the rule here is that uh, the higher the demand, then the closer the item should be to the entrance or to the access. So that we have the minimum trip when we want to take those items, okay, for packaging and for dispatch. Okay, that is the tip here. The next area that may have very significant question, okay, about the product coding. And recently, then I see that recently they may have very difficult question on this one. To begin, then I need to say that effective product coding is an indispensable part of the inventory management. The bigger the inventory, then you need to manage them in very professional way. And if you can relate, then you can imagine that within a grocery store, a small and family size grocery store, then the store owner may not need to have kind of like barcode or anything like that. He can just remember all of his facility, all of his inventory. Okay, but when we have a big warehouse, like a warehouse that may have total area as 5,000 meter or 10,000 meter, and it contains like thousands or tens of thousands items, then remembering them is impossible, and we need to have a computerized system for management. And coding would facilitate the computerization and digitalization. Here, then the most basic thing is to have an SKU or a stock keeping unit. A stock keeping unit. Okay, so a stock keeping unit is just a code for the item. Something like this, right? The SKU is just a code for the item. Here, for example, I have some item in my warehouse, and each of them will have an SKU, a name, some description or attribute. Like I have some polo shirts within my warehouse, and of them are size M and color white, and it has the a certain SKU. Okay, when I have the SKU, it works like a key ID for my database. And when I search for my item, then I can just use the SKU and it jump directly into my item and indicate about the quantity left in the inventory as well as the price and other information. So SKU is necessary. SKU is necessary. And to code the SKU, then we may have different ways. The most common way could be using the numerical or alphanumerical or alphabetical. Like the SKU may be the digits only, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It could be using the alphabetical characters like ABCD. It could be using the combination between numerical and alphanumerical like A65. Okay, that kind of thing. The coding could be also sequential or random or significant. Okay, sequential means they come into sequence like 61, 62, 63. Random means they just come into very random number. or random characters, and there's no reason at all. Just because they are random. And significant means the code has structure. Okay, so significant coding is also known as the structure. Okay, and with significant or structured coding, then they would look like this. For example, I am selling the furniture with some variation. Okay, I sell some chairs, maybe office chairs, kitchen chairs, or classroom chair. So to facilitate my sorting and to make it more structured and more systematic, then I code them in some rules. Okay, like the chair would have the code like FNT0. FNT is the abbreviation for furniture. Okay, and 0 stand for chair. Maybe my table or desk would have the FNT1. Okay, other item maybe the beds, okay, or the beds or the wardrobe could be FNT2, FNT3, etc. So with the code like this, then I could be organizing my code in a very structured and systematic way. All right. So within the chair, then I have some variation by the chair for office, the chair for kitchen, the chair for classroom, and each of these categories will have some stable and sequential coding. Like office chair will have the code like FNT091, kitchen chair FNT092, and classroom chair will have FNT093. Okay, so with this kind of coding, then there are some advantages. Like I could it could be very easy for me to identify the item and categorize them and support the classification as well as the uh, aggregation of data or data analysis. Okay, with this kind of coding, then data analysis is a bit easier because we can categorize them into bigger group, and overall, then we can run like some simulation to understand the uh, impact of these items on the bottom line. Okay, and of the category in general. All right. Recent exam asked about this kind of coding. However, then I just heard about the question, but I haven't had the question in detail. So I cannot just show it here and let you try it. But if I have any, then I would share with you. Okay, that is about the silicon coding and their impact. +268. The next topic, and also very significant, is about the product coding and product checking technology. We can have two tech, basically two tech here, the barcoding and RFID. Okay, so with barcode, then they are quite old. Actually, then this technology was created in 1970s, and actually they are still in use today. Actually, and then I need to say that they deliver very big impact. Okay, and still in use and still delivering big return on investment. RFID is a bit later, and with barcode, then they created different type barcode, like the 1D barcode, the one that you see on the packaging in the supermarket, And they also upgrade into 2D barcode, which is the QR code that you see everywhere nowadays, like for marketing or for payment and financial services. So this technology is very standard, but they are the um, silent contributor to our globalized world and ever developing economy. Okay, so with the exam, then they often ask you about the use of the technologies and their advantages and disadvantages. Okay, for example, like what would be the advantages of barcode and RFID? To understand the use of barcode, then we need to come back to the basic idea of SKU and why it need to be some kind of like black and white bars like this. Okay, so as you know, then our world has a lot of items, has a lot of products. I could say that we have like billions of product and millions or even billions of producer. Okay, that's a lot. And because of that number and because of that number and the length of the barcode, the length of product coding, okay, a string number like this, then it is not practical to just enter this length, enter this strip of digits into the computer. That would delay the work a lot. So there must be some way to speed up the input information, and barcode is such a attempt. Instead of just entering the key ID into the computer like this, okay, very complex and also very time consuming. Even with a simple store, then this one still take a lot of time. Okay, instead of doing this, then we can have a barcode. We can have a scanner, which shoot a beam laser into the barcode, and then when the light flash back, then the computer may the computer may read the result, and it can understand that the barcode represent a string of numbers, a string of digits like this, and then it look up the ID into the database and understand that, oh, okay, so this ID or this barcode, is about some kind of flower vase, and we have 100 in quantity in the warehouse, and the price is kind of like $50 for these vases. Okay, so once we have the barcode, then we can just speed up the time to input information. And we can just use a very simple scanner, shoot at this, and it reflect back with the information. And then we can proceed with the information, and also very speed up the process for inputting information and also for dispatch the warehouse. Dispatch the inventory or the item. Okay. With RFID, then it is kind of like more recent technology. And instead of using the black and white strips, it uses the radio frequency or radio wave. And to enable the use of RFID, we need to have at least two components. First, the RFID text like this. This one is basically an antenna. Okay, you know that the antenna are the thing that we need to have to receive the signal from the television. Okay, from the transmitter, so that we can have the signal for the television. That is the story of kept like 20 years ago. But we need a big antenna for that day. We needed a big antenna for that day to watch TV. But nowadays, then we may watch from streaming service like Netflix or any service that you have in your country. But the basic of the radio frequency is the same. Okay, and to enable to track the item, then we have a tag like this, and basically it is an antenna that may receive and reflect the frequency. That may receive and reflect frequency. Okay, so when you stand in a distance from the item in a warehouse, you can just press button on the reader, and then the reader may send a signal to the tag, and then the tag receive it and then reflect back into the reader. The reader will translate, will interpret that kind of signal and show it on the screen about the information. Okay, it shows the information on the screen, like the location, of the item, or the quantity in the warehouse of the item, or the item description, or any other information that you want to know. Okay, so this one is Kepler new technology. It is a bit pricier, but it has many advantages. When compare between barcode and RFID, then the barcode is older technology. And even that, then it has a lot of advantages. And you can see that in virtually every supermarket in this world, every supermarket that you can see, then they always use a barcode for the coding on the item, and for cashier, for the purchasing process in the supermarket. Why? Because this one is standardized, it is cheap, and it still increase the productivity a lot. But the thing is, the barcode is not secure. It can be copied and falsified. So it still has a disadvantage, and that kept like a limit of barcode. With RFID, then although it is a bit pricier than the barcode, but it has a lot of advantages. Like it can store a significant amount of information. An RFID tag can store up to 2 kilobytes of information, and that is equivalent to about 4,000 characters. While barcode only have the ability to store like 32 alphanumerical characters. 32. And when you compare to 3,000, when we compare to 4,000, then that is very significant. Second, then one of the very great application of RFID is the ability to track the exact location within a range. Barcode has no such ability, and furthermore, RFID could be used to anti-thief. Okay, you know that when you walk into a fashion store, then there will be a chip. There will be kind of like RFID tag on each piece of cloth. And if the cashier forgets to remove that for you, then when you walk out to the gate, an alarm will be set off. Okay, that is another application of RFID. Basically, we have the RFID tag on the piece of cloth. And then when we walk to the gate, then at the gate, then there a reader there, And if you walk through the gate without removing that RFID tag, then it set up an alarm. So RFID could be used for anti-thief purpose. Okay, and it is more secure as well. However, then RFID has its own disadvantages. Of course, the price tag is one problem, but a bigger problem is that because it is using radio frequency technology, so that technology has the limit within the when we want to use it within water environment or with meter. Meter reflect back the radio frequency. So a meter item may capably corrupt the signal, and the reader may not work with that kind of frequency. So RFID has very limited use with metal items and with the item with water content, like a bottle of Coca-Cola. Okay, so to correct that limit, they may produce or they may research new type RFID or dedicated RFID tag. However, those RFID tags would be very expensive. Okay, so basically, then the price tag of this technology is a great concern here. Uh, and with this area, there will be many questions, especially about RFID. Some questions will be about barcode, and pretty many questions about RFID. Why they want to ask you about like the advantages and disadvantages of RFID. For the barcode, then they ask mostly about the benefits of the barcode. Okay, so I think we can move on with the next area about the classification of stock and their application. The first way to classify a stock is about opening and closing stock. These categories are simply about accounting. They are simply about accounting. And one of the related area is about the calculation of cost of goods sold, the cost of goods sold, or COGS. So the cost of goods sold is the amount of inventory that you use within a period like a year or a quarter. And if we consider about the opening and closing, then you may know that the closing stock would be equal to the opening plus the stock that we purchased during the time, and then minus the used inventory. And the used inventory here, in other words, it is the cost of goods sold. So when we flip the side of this equation, okay, move the used here to this side of equation, then we will have a formula. The cost of goods sold equal to opening stock plus purchase stock minus closing stock. Okay, this could be a question that you may see from the exam. Or they may ask you to calculate the closing stock from the number in that question. All right. I have the example here, but we may have example for other questions. The second classification also very important about the dependent and independent demand. Okay, so dependent demand are the item that that quantity to purchase depends on the production plan or other item. They are typically the material or to produce some item, to produce the finished product. Why independent demand? They are the product that at the end, so their quantity is not dependent on any other item, but they depends on the end user requirements. The question about this could be about like identify what would be the dependent demand, what could be the independent demand, or there could be some other questions about how to manage these items differently. With dependent demand, then we need to use MRP and the bill material. With independent demand, then we may use trading time or push and pull system or forecasting method to manage the demand here. Another type classification that Cips asks quite often as well is about the redundant and obsolescent stock. They are the stock that no longer has value because they could be like outdated or they no longer have the demand in the market. So for this item, then they need to be written off from the accounting book, and that could be recognized at a loss for the business. So we as procurement, our job here is to minimize the redundant and obsolescent stock. There are some way to do that, like sell them off when they still have some kind of like use, even though at the time their value may be reduced. We also need to manage the demand and forecast the demand more closely, or we may adopt just-in-time approach to reduce the need for higher stock. And if we have the redundant stock and obsolescent stock in the warehouse, then the disposal needs to take into environment matters into consideration or into account. Okay, the next classification, also very important, is the use of ABC analysis or 80-20 rule. This rule states that 80% of the result, or in this case, 80% of revenue, or 80% of the item is the result of the 20% of the types or 20% of items. Okay, so with this one, then it helps us to focus on very key items, and with this category, with this kind of classification, then we can just focus our effort on the most important item. In the exam, then they tend to ask you about the application of ABC and its benefit. And fortunately, then I have an example here. Okay, so I have a question for you. Okay, if you have any idea, then just type down your answer in the chat. Okay, so the question is, what advantage can the use of ABC classification of stock provide in warehouse design? Okay, A allows the organization to categorize items in alphabetical order for either storage and retrieval. Provides purchasing staff more time to concentrate on those items that have most financial benefits to the organization. C assists in deciding on the most appropriate layout, handling system, and what type of picking system to introduce. And D determines where each item is to be located within the warehouse to add inspection procedures. Okay, so please answer. And let me see how you solve this question. Okay, so I see that the majority of the answer is about B, right? Most people select B. Yeah. Someone would select C or D, or with Sophie, then she selects A. Okay, I would like to ask some people about their option. For example, for Beauty and Harry. Okay, you select D. All right. Can you unmute yourself and tell me why you select D? Okay. Beauty and Harry. Please unmute yourself and explain why you select D as the answer for this question.
Thank you. I
Yes.
think ABC classifies commodities first as of its importance, and then staff should know where to locate those commodities. Is it a high value? Is it easily accessible? Something of that sort.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. I also want to hear the idea from people who select C, option C. Okay. I would like to invite John Peter Alio. John Peter. Okay, please wait. I am okay. John, John Peter. Could you unmute yourself and tell me why you select C?
Yeah, I select C because ABC analysis or method
Yeah.
classifies stock on the how fast moving they are.
Yeah.
So inputting how fast moving they are, such that it's easy to retrieve them. For example, fast moving items are placed usually at the door side. So
Yes,
they're
that's right.
classified as
I agree.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, John. And your answer is really convincing. Okay. So with ABC, then it's not just about the value of this item, the importance of the item. Also, it also assists on information like the speed of movement of the item or the turnover rate of this item, right? Okay, so here, first thing, one of the things that you need to do in the exam is to understand the question. You need to analyze the question. Right? So please read the question carefully. Then I think that the keyword here is, we have two keywords. First, ABC classification. Okay, I will highlight it by make it bolder. And second, okay, in the warehouse design. Okay, not in management of the inventory, not in allocation of time, not in sorting the inventory, not in inspection, in warehouse design, right? That is the keyword. So when we consider this, then, okay, I absolutely not correct, because ABC is not about alphabetical order. Absolutely no. B, of course, ABC assists this, but it is not about warehouse design. It is about the allocation of time. It is about inventory management. Okay. D, it is about, of course, ABC also assists this. Just like John said, because ABC is also about the turnover rate and the speed of movement of the item. We have higher demand item like A items, they need to be located closer to the door, right? But D is about determination of the location of item. Okay, not the design, not design. Okay, the design is about the layout. Okay, it's about the size of the eyes, the location. Sorry, um, the size, the rack, the shape, the rack, the shape of the shape of the warehouse. Okay, like you may make it like U shape, V shape, I shape, etc. Okay, so when we consider the question here, ABC classification in warehouse design, then C is the only appropriate answer. Okay, and the explanation also include in John's explanation. Okay, because ABC is not just about importance, it is also about the speed of movement, the turnover rate of these items. So A items tend to have very high turnover rate, and they tend to have higher demand. And because of that, then we need to design the layout so that facilitate the picking process for A and B item. Okay, optimize the picking process for A and B. And if A and B has higher demand, then they need to have kind of like different handling system. Like we may use more automated system, like using AGV, automated guided vehicle, or we may have more robot in the area for A item, so that we can speed up the pickup for A, right? Okay, so only C is the appropriate answer when we consider the question in full. Okay. After my explanation, then does anyone have some kind of like objection or other idea? Okay. After my explanation, then do you have any other idea for this question? Okay. I think that we could move on with other type question and other area. All right. So it is about ABC, and you see that although the question is not extremely difficult and it doesn't involve any mathematical or any calculation here, but it still poses some kind of challenge because of the way it is worded. So here, it is not just about your knowledge. It is also about how you manage your time and how you understand the question. Okay, so with any question that you doubt, it is advisable to flag them and return to them later. And you need to read the question carefully, understand the requirement here, and then decide the answer. Okay, don't just jump into conclusion just because you see the word like ABC classification and uh, concentration, important, something like that. Don't turn on the autopilot mode like that. We need to analyze the question individually, and understand the requirement here. Okay, let's move on other area, like about the cost of holding stock. With the cost of holding stock, then we have three major categories, like acquisition, the holding cost, and the cost of car. And here, I don't think that I need to explain again what is the what are included within our acquisition, what are included within her holding cost, and what are included within the cost of car. They are very clear from study guide. Okay, and it's your job to study them. In the exam, then this error tends to have the question on identification of different costs, like what will be under acquisition cost, what will be under the holding cost, and what will be under the cost of car. Okay, just identify them. This question tend to be very basic, and I hope that you do basic question. There is another kind of question where it requires you to calculate the holding cost. It requires you to calculate the holding cost. And we may focus on the space cost in particular. Here, I have a question for you. Okay, so it's a question about the calculation of the holding cost. All right, so the space cost is 1.5 British pound per cubic meter per day. So what would be the cost of holding a pallet of beer that occupy 0.5 cubic meter and remain in storage for 5 days? All right, it's your time to calculate and type down your answer in the chat. Let's try it. Here, I don't want to write any options because I want you to like do your calculation yourself and type out your answer. It is just a simple math puzzle. So just demonstrate your answer in the chat. Take out your calculator or turn on the calculator on your phone and type them down. What is the answer here? Okay, so all answers until this moment point to 3.75 pounds or £3.75, 75 pennies, sorry. Okay. Yeah, and of course that is the correct one. And also I'm very impressed that a lot of people here explain how they come up with the answer. How they come up with the answer. Okay, so we just need to multiply them together. Okay, the space cost is 1.5 per cubic meter per day, and the pallet is 0.5 cubic meter. So the storage day would be 5 days. So just multiply them. 1.5 multiply with 0.5 multiply with 5, and the answer is 3.75. Okay, I can show it. I can show it from my calculator. Okay, 1.5 multiply with 0.5 multiply with 5. Okay, 3.75. Okay, that is the correct answer. Well done. Well done. Okay, so with the holding cost and the space cost, then there could be another question about the calculation of the space cost for particular item or particular pallet. Okay, and we can move on with the next topic on the on some stock management. Sorry, on some stock measures. On my screen, then I'm showing 3 basic measures. First, on the service level, this one is the percentage of the time that the demand is satisfied. Okay, it is calculated by taking the the number of time that the customer receive what they want. Like every time they visit your place, they see what they want and they are satisfied with that. Okay, and that is the nominator. The denominator would be the total times that the item are requested. There will be some occasions where the customers walk in and they could not just find their desired item. So at that time, the customer is not satisfied. And we can say that at the time, the service level falls below 100. 100% service level means that every time your customer come to your place, they are totally satisfied. They come out with something in their hand and they pay you. That is 100% service level. But achieving that kind of request, that kind of objective is virtually impossible. It requires you to store it, everything in the world, and that is very costly. So for service level, then we often set the target like 95, 96, 97%, and not 100. The second measure is the rate of stock turn, and another its sister measure is the inventory day. The inventory day measure the average days, measure the average duration in which the stock stay in the warehouse. Okay, so if I say that my average inventory days within a year is about 30 days. It means that within a year, then I have 12 cycles of stock turn. 12 cycles stock turn. So to calculate the inventory day, then we need to take 365 divided by the rate of stock turn. And to calculate the rate of stock turn, we take the cost of goods sold divided by the average inventory. And average inventory is the average number between opening and closing stock. Okay. So with this one, especially about different measure here, they may ask you about the kind of like formula for these measures. And let me show you an example. Okay, so this question asks you to identify the two factors that are needed for the calculation of the rate of stock turn. All right, so it's your turn to select the correct answer here. Okay, I'm seeing the answers from the participants. Right. The majority select A and C. A and C. Okay. And some people may have other opinion like A and B, A and E, C and D, B and C. Okay. And John, yeah, okay, it's fine. All right, so for this time, then I would like to ask the majority first. Okay, let's pick someone. Okay, I just pick randomly. Rutendo, let me allow you to unmute. Rutendo, okay, he's not here. Maybe disconnected to network. May I ask Brenda? Okay, Brenda, could you explain why you select A and C? Please unmute yourself and tell me. Brenda, are you there? Okay, Brenda is not answer, so I pick another one. Sekina, can you answer this? Can you explain your option A and C? Sekina? Okay, not responsive. How about Patricia? Patricia? Can you explain your answer A and C? Okay, these folks are not responsive. All right. Let me ask other group. Tembilile. Yeah, Tembilile Simbada. Can you unmute and explain? Oh, okay. Sekina is answer. Tembilile. Yeah. Okay.
Hello, thank you. For me, I chose A and C. Stock rate of stock trade is about how the stock is being acquired and how it's being used. How is it being used?
Okay.
So
So
that's how I
I saw that
For
you select A
AB.
and B. Yeah, A and B.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
that is total usage. I'm not sure about the average stock for a period. I just selected A. But for B, I'm sure about total usage for a period because it's about how the stock is being used and how it's being accumulated.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah, I would like to ask another opinion. Patient also select A and B. Patient, are you there? Let me allow you to unmute. Oh, sorry. We have two patients here. Patient Sino Amadi. Are you able to explain?
Thank you. No, I choose B and A and C.
Okay.
The average
It's fine.
stock. Yeah, I meant to choose. I think it's a typing error. I meant to choose A and C. the average sales and the average stock.
Okay, why is this your answer?
A and C.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be A and C.
Okay, so do you have any explanation for this?
So I chose A and C because it's the average sales, it's the sales that we have made for the period. So and the average stock, it's the stock that we hold during the period.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. All right, I appreciate your effort. All right, so it's time for me to give the final answer and explanation. All right, so actually this question just address a matter about the formula of the rate of stock turn. And either search for this term online or in the study guide, stock turn or the rate stock turn, then they all come up with a single formula. Okay, I can just do that double check for you. Yeah, they can call it the rate of stock turnover. It's the same thing. So every website on accounting, on finance, on procurement, they all show the same thing. Stock turnover ratio equal to the cost of goods sold divided by average inventory, just like the one that I showed you here. Okay, I just use the abbreviation because due to the space. Okay, so it's the formula. And let's return here. Okay, which of the following are required in order to calculate the rate of stock turn? Simply, it is just a matter of formula. And the thing is, Cips may use synonym for the answer so that they can hide their true intention. Okay, so first option, average stock for the period. Okay, totally correct. Because that is the denominator here. That is the denominator here. Okay, average stock of the period. Right, just the denominator of average inventory. Okay, that is absolutely correct. That is absolutely correct. Okay, this one is correct. Okay, second option, the total usage for the period. Okay, what does it mean? The total usage. Okay, or this one can be expressed as the used the value of used inventory in the period. Okay, in other words, this one is the cost of goods sold. Okay, you can even search for the cost of goods sold or the definition of cost of goods sold from internet. Okay, so the cost of goods sold refer to the direct cost. Yeah, how we can create direct cost, producing, and this amount include the cost of material and labor directly used in the to create the good. So the amount here must include the material and the value of labor that have been used to create the goods, to create the finished product. And the formula of cost of goods sold is calculated at the beginning inventory or opening inventory plus the purchase product, the purchase during period, and minus the ending inventory. Just like what I have shown you a few slides earlier. Exactly this, right? And the cost of goods sold I also express as the used inventory. Okay, so the total usage for the period is the cost of goods sold, and it's a part of the formula here. So B is correct. B is correct. Okay, so this question just require you to understand the nature of different number from the formula. And the problem is not every Cips student is an accountant. That's why they may use some accounting term or some synonym to confuse you. And this question is an example. We know the formula. Okay. Just I even show this before I show the question. We know the formula. We know the number. We know the what is required, what are required. But many students are still confused by the terms that Cips use in the exam. Okay, for example, for this one, they use the word the total usage, not the word the cost of goods sold. So it confused you. Okay, that is a problem. Many people see the word like the cost of sale or the cost of goods sold, mistake it as the sale, But actually, for this one, it is the revenue for the period. And the sale here is not correct because we don't, that is not how formula work. The sale here doesn't provide the meaning for this one because you know that with the sale, we also include the profit. Okay, this number include the profit. And it may derail the result. Okay. Okay, so C is incorrect because simply it is just a different number, different figure from the different figure from the from the report, from financial report. Okay, it is just simply a different number, different figure, and we need to look at the right figure here, the cost of goods sold or the total usage for the period. Okay, so the thing is, in L4M7, we have multiple formula from Cips to demonstrate about inventory management efficiency. And you need to understand nature and also some synonym for these number or for these definition. Okay, so some background in accounting is good, but also you may search for those terms from internet and make it less confused. Okay, let's move on the final topic today. And I'd like to introduce about some basic techniques for inventory management. We have two basic strategies for inventory management. That is the pull or the push. Pull or push. With pull, then it is simply about we take the order first, and then we calculate the quantity of the purchase, and then take them. Okay, so with pull, then the most notable technique is just in time. With push, instead of receiving the order first, we don't want to receive the order. We want to make the forecast. We want to make the forecast so that the customer don't need to contact us, but we just sell them on. We just sell the item from our store, just show it, and the customer will come. Okay, that is the push process. So with the push process, then we forecast the demand, calculate the quantity, and plan accordingly, like when to purchase, how to purchase, and with how much quantity. All right, that is the push process and pull process. And within the pull strategy, we have very notable technique, which is the just in time. Just in time is very great. It offers a lot of advantages, like reduce the waste, reduce the need for inventory or the need for storage, down to even very close to zero. But it is not free, and it has its own requirements. Like you must have very high confidence in the supplier, because they need to deliver that in very tight time schedule and very strict quality. There should be no defect from the in the delivery. And second, to do just in time, you need to have very high level of coordination, very low margin for error, and the plan must be very specific, precise, and communicated clearly. Okay, that is a requirement for just in time. All right, so again, I have another question for you. Okay, you need to select two options in this question. For this one, then it asks about the requirements of successful implementation of just in time. Okay, so let's show your understanding of just in time here. Okay, the question is a bit long, so I may wait until there are more answers to come. B and C, B and C, B and C. Okay, B and E. All right, B and C, B and C, B and C. Yeah, B and C. Okay. Very interesting. B and C. Yeah. Okay. I'm very happy that most participants joined to the discussion very actively, and that is a success from today's event. Okay, I have some question, and all of you want to answer it. Okay, it's time to give the answer. All right, so I see that some participants select E. Okay, E statement say that supplier must hold a buffer stock of component to ensure that they are able to meet the JIT demand. The thing is, it not must. They can do it or not. They can do it or not. It not must. As long as they are able to deliver the delivery, they are able to deliver the items, then they are good. So with this question, then as I explained earlier, one of the requirement for real time is about very strict standard on the quality. So absolutely, we need to have C, because with just time we have very tight schedule. Kind of like the customer only allow us to produce the thing within 3 days from the day of receiving the order. Okay, 3-day lead time, very tight. So we need to have very strict quality standard, and the supplier need to deliver that, and it must be able to immediately used in the production. Okay, so C is correct, and together with B. Together with B, where the item need to be delivered at the right time, strictly. Okay, and also at the right quantity. So B and C are correct. B and C are correct. Okay, congratulations. All right. Actually, then the time for today event is well over, and although I think that you have a lot of concern to address, but my time does not allow that, and it's also pretty late, and I'm very tired today. Okay, so thank you very much for joining, and I see that we have had a very successful event and very productive discussion. So to support us and also to get the best preparation for your exam, then you may consider to purchase my practice question from Udemy. And if you have any other concern or any other question, and you want me to explain that, please contact me for with the WhatsApp number on the screen or the email address. So again, very productive today. Thank you very much for joining, and I hope that we may have another session, another productive session, where you may I may raise some other questions, and you may try to answer that. Okay, thank you very much, and see you later. Goodbye.